Hey, this is Nicholas. We're continuing to talk about formulas, and in this video, we're talking about Suni-san, frigid extremities powder. So the first thing we should mention is that we have two formulas with very similar sounding names, Suni-tang, frigid extremities decoction, and Suni-san, frigid extremities powder. Both of these formulas treat cold limbs, but the underlying mechanism is very different. Suni-tang treats cold extremities due to yang collapse or devastated yang. So the idea here is there's just not enough yang to warm the body. So we'll see cold extremities, an aversion to cold, curling up when lying down, a pale tongue, and a faint pulse. Suni-san, on the other hand, treats cold extremities due to liver qi stagnation. The idea here is because the qi is stagnant, the extremities aren't being properly warmed because the qi is just not circulating there. So here you'll see coldness in the fingers and toes, but the head and body will still feel warm. And because we're dealing with liver qi stagnation, we'll see additional signs and symptoms like irritability, fullness in the chest, a red tongue with a yellow coat, and a wiry pulse. So maybe a way you can remember the difference between these two formulas is T is for tonify, so Suni-tang tonifies yang to warm the entire body, but S is for stagnation, so Suni-san treats cold fingers and toes due to liver qi stagnation. Or, if we wanted to be more Chinese about it, we could mention that the character san not only means powder, it also means to scatter or to disperse. So Suni-san disperses stagnation so that the qi can reach the extremities. And we actually have another formula called Dangui Suni-tang, which treats cold extremities due to blood deficiency. Again, the T means tonify, but because this one has Dangui in the name, that means we're tonifying blood to warm the extremities. So with Suni-san, even though our chief complaint is cold extremities, we're actually not treating it with warming herbs. Instead, we're using acrid moving herbs to spread the qi and release constraint. And we do this using a very interesting Duiyao pair, Chai Hu plus Bai Shao. This combination is discussed in more detail in the Duiyao video, I'll link that below, but the basic idea is we have this saying that the liver is yin in form and yang in function. When we say that the liver is yin in form, we mean that the liver stores blood and likes to be soft and relaxed. When we say that the liver is yang in function, we're referring to its function of moving qi and governing free coursing. So the pair Chai Hu plus Bai Shao addresses both of these aspects. Bai Shao is a nourishing herb that softens and relaxes the liver. Chai Hu is an acrid herb that moves liver qi and relieves constraint. And then we add in Zhi, which is another qi regulating herb, especially for fullness in the chest and epigastrium. And then Zhi is there to harmonize and also to strengthen the spleen. So notice the temperature of these herbs. Even though we're treating a condition of cold extremities, all of these herbs, except for Zhi, are actually cool in temperature. So we could say that the cold fingers and toes are a sign of false cold. We're actually likely to see heat in the center because of the constrained qi, and that's why we have a red tongue with a yellow coat. And we can also point out the direction of these herbs. Chai Hu has more of an upward and outward direction. It's very light and ascending. But Zhi is more bitter and descending. It has a strong downward direction. So with this formula, we're moving qi in all the directions. And then we can also say that this formula can also be used for disharmony of the liver and spleen, because Chai Hu and Bai Shao are working more on the liver, whereas Zhi and Zhi are working more on the spleen and stomach. So I don't know how often you'll see this formula prescribed in clinic, but it's still a good one to know because it's one of those small formulas that you'll see pop up inside of other formulas. For example, Chai Hu Shugan-san is a modification of Suni-san. So we start with the original 4 herbs, and then we just add in additional moving herbs like Chen-pi, Xiangfu, and Xuanxiong. Shui-fu-ju-yu-tong is a formula that moves both qi and blood, and we can see that it's basically Tao-hong-su-wu-tong plus Suni-san. So we're combining our basic blood-moving formula with a basic qi-moving formula. Even Xiaoya-san, some people say, is based on Suni-san. This one might be a little bit of a stretch, but we could at least say that it's based on the same Duiyao pair, Chai Hu plus Bai Shao. And then this can even show up as a modification for other formulas. So for some formulas, you might see something like, for for liver qi stagnation and rib side pain, combine the original formula with Suni-san. So this is a good formula to know, and that's Suni-san. But that's all for today. Thanks, and see you next time.